Good day everyone, we are the group 4. So today we will be discussing about regulations and supervision of financial institutions. So the first topic is about regulation and supervision. So regulation and supervision in financial institution plays a vital role in ensuring the stability and integrity of the financial system. Financial institutions are entrusted with the task of managing individuals' and businesses' assets and financial transactions. As such, they have fiduciary duty to their clients to act in their best interest and to safeguard their funds. So regulation refers to the rules and guidelines imposed by government, agencies, or regulatory bodies to govern the conduct and operations of financial institutions. So, these regulations are put in place to protect consumers, prevent fraud and misconduct, and maintain the stability of the financial system as a whole. Compliance with these regulations is mandatory for financial institutions, and failure to do so can result in fine sanctions or even the revocation of their operating license. So supervision, on the other hand, involves monitoring and oversight of financial institutions by regulatory authorities to ensure that they are adhering to the regulations in place. Supervisory bodies conduct regular inspection and audits of financial institutions to assess their financial health, risk management practices, and compliance with regulations. They also have the authority to intervene and take corrective action if they identify any irregularities or violations. The importance of regulation and supervision in financial institutions cannot be overstated. Without effective regulation and supervision, financial institutions are more prone to engaging in risky and unethical practices which can jeopardize the financial well-being of their clients and the stability of the entire financial system. In conclusion, regulation and supervision are essential components of the financial system that ensure the integrity, stability, and trustworthiness of financial institutions. By enforcing strict regulations and conducting thorough supervision, regulatory authorities can safeguard consumers' interests, prevent financial crises, and promote a healthy and transparent financial sector. It is imperative for financial institutions to comply with regulations and cooperate with supervisory authorities to maintain the public's trust and confidence in the financial system. That's all for this topic. Next reporter.
Let us now discuss what is regulation. The financial system must be in good working order for the economy, enterprises, and consumers. Protecting customers and maintaining the stability of the financial system are two goals of financial regulation. So, however, in actually, what does financial regulation mean? So, financial regulation pertains to the collection of guidelines and legal requirements that businesses in the financial sector, including banks, credit unions, insurance providers, asset managers, and financial brokers, are required to adhere to. But financial regulation is more than just putting laws in place. It also involves monitoring and enforcing them continuously. What is the financial sector regulation's primary goal? The primary goals are to uphold and strengthen the financial industry's integrity, also safeguard users and clients, and advance and sustain financial stability. In one way or another, the financial system is part of all of us. For instance, savers rely on banks to have their money on hand for emergencies. Companies must be able to borrow money, maintain their operations, and grow. When purchasing insurance or a mortgage, consumers may require guidance on which product is best for them. Policyholders, in the case of insurance companies, depend on claims being paid when something goes wrong. So financial institutions with lax regulations have the capacity to jeopardize the stability of the financial system, injure customers, and affect the outlook for the economy. Strong financial regulation is therefore necessary to prevent problems from arising, also to protect the larger financial system and to shield customers in the event that something goes wrong. How does the regulation of finance operate? Prudential regulation refers to ensuring that businesses are sufficiently supported, effectively regulated, and have suitable risk controls in place. So when we say consumer protection, it refers to ensuring businesses treat customers fairly throughout the entire sales process as well as in the handling of complaints. Authorization is an essential part of prudential regulation. It is also our gatekeeper role. It refers to the truth that we only permit businesses to function in the financial systems after they have satisfied a number of requirements such as governance and risk management. Consumer protection rules are also. These specify how businesses should interact with clients while attempting to sell them financial items in the best interest of its clients and in the integrity of the market. For instance, a regulated business is required to act honestly, fairly, and professionally.
Hi everyone, ang i-discuss ko po ay supervision in financial institution. Ang supervision po ay ang executive force na nagkokontrol o tumitingin ng pananalapi na umiikot sa loob ng financial market. Ang mga supervisor po ay may mga sinusunod na legal environment. Ang mga legal environment po, ito po yung mga batas na pinapatupad ng gobyerno. Ayon kay Crockett in 2003, sinasabi niya po na ang supervision ay kabilang o parte ng financial market infrastructure. Yung infrastructure po, ito po yung mga facilities po, organizational structure katulad po ng mga roads, building po or power na kailangan po ng isang bansa upang mag-operate po ito ng maayos. Ang next naman po ay ang role of financial supervision. Ang pinaka-goal po ng banking supervision ay protektahan at magkaroon ng transparency sa pera na pinapasok ng depositor sa bangko at magkaroon ng matatag na pananalapi ang bansa dahil nagiging resulta ito ng pag-unlad sa ekonomiya. Nakarely din po ang financial market kung paano i-supervise ng mga supervisor yung financial market. Dahil po mas nagiging maayos po yung financial market ng isang bansa if mayroon po silang sinusunod at nagsusupervise po sa kanila. Ang next naman po is, why must financial institution be supervised? Dahil sa pagkakaroon natin ng kaalaman tungkol sa bangko na may supervisor, nagagaranti po natin at ng mga investor at depositor na ang kanilang pera ay safe at mababa ang risk of bank run. Yung bank run po, ito po yung biglang pag-withdraw ng lahat ng depositor po sa isang bangko dahil naisip po nila na maaring mabankrupt in the near future ang bangko na pinagdepositohan po nila ng kanilang pera.
A financial institution is a type of company that is part of the financial services sector. The financial institutions provide money-related services like deposits, loans, investments, insurance, and more. For financial institution, the key supplier of funds and the key demanders of the funds are individuals, businesses, and government. Financial institutions are required by the government to operate within established regulatory guidelines.
Financial institutions play a crucial role in the economy by facilitating the flow of funds between savers and borrowers. Nangongolekta sila ng funds from the public and other institutions, then ini-invest yung funds na yon in various financial assets such as loans, securities, bank deposits, and income-generating properties. So, these institutions act as intermediaries. Kinokonekta nila yung mga taong may sobrang pera, which is yung mga savers, sa mga taong kailangan ng pera, which is yung mga borrowers naman. There are two types of financial institutions, which is yung depository institutions and non-depository institutions. So, itong depository financial institution is a type of financial institution na tumatanggap and nag-hold ng deposits from individuals and businesses. Then, ginagamit nila yung deposit na yan to fund various lending activities, investment, and other financial services. Some examples of depository financial institutions include commercial banks, credit unions, mutual saving banks, and savings and loan associations. So, dito muna tayo sa commercial banks. It is the most common type of depository institution. Ito yung mga banks na tumatanggap ng deposits from individuals and businesses and nagpo-provide ng iba't ibang services such as checking accounts, savings accounts, and loans. Commercial banks can primarily make money by charging interest on the loans they offer. For example, is yung Metro Bank, BDO, Security Bank, and Land Bank. Next is yung credit unions. Ito naman yung member-owned financial cooperatives na nagpo-provide ng service na similar din sa mga bangko such as savings accounts, loans, and other financial products. However, yung credit unions are non-profit organizations, so madalas they offer lower fees and better interest rates compared sa commercial banks. Next is yung mutual savings banks. Ito naman yung financial institutions na yung mga depositors yung may-ari and they operated it for their own benefit. Originally, naka-focus yung mutual savings banks sa mga individuals na mababa yung income and they offer services such as savings accounts, mortgage, and other lending products. Yung kauna-unahang mutual savings banks is nagsimula pa noong 1816, which is yung Philadelphia Savings Society and Boston's Provident Institution for Savings. Mostly, yung locations ng mga ganitong klaseng bangko is matatagpuan pa sa Mid-Atlantic and Industrial Northeast regions in the United States. And noong 1910, meron ng 637 mga ganong institutions. And lastly is savings and loan associations. Ito naman yung mga institutions that make loans to help people buy homes. Pero pwede rin silang mag-loan pag gusto nilang improve yung bahay nila or loans kung may new constructions inside their house. Yung savings ng mga tao is yung ginagamit nila para magpa-loan, mostly for mortgage. Dati, isa siyang institution in which yung mga savers is parang mga owners din or shareholders. Pero ngayon, yung savings and loan association is more like banks na nag-offer ng other financial products besides sa mortgage, such as yung tax-deferred annuities, direct deposit of social security checks, automatic deductions from account for mortgage payments, and insurance premium and passbook loans. And that's all for depository institution. Let us now go with non-depository institution that will be discussed by Noyles.
Non-depository financial institution. Any financial institution that acts as a middleman between two parties in financial transaction and that does not provide traditional depository service such as life insurance company, pension funds, and investment activities directly from the financial market by selling securities to the public or by selling insurance policies in case of insurance companies. Ang non-depository financial institution po ay hindi po sila tumatanggap ng deposit, unlike po sa depository institution na tumatanggap po sila ng deposit. This non-depository financial institution include insurance company, pension funds, and finance company. Tumutulong po sila hindi lang po sa tao, pati na rin po sa mga business or iba pang business na nangangailangan. Next naman po is yung mga example ng non-depository financial institution. First po is insurance company. Insurance company are major suppliers of funds. Policyholder makes payments called premium to buy financial protection from the insurance company. Insurance company invests the premium in stock, bonds, real estate, business loan, and real estate loans for large project. Thus po, may two types of insurance company, ang life insurance and casualty insurance. Ang mga example naman po sa Philippines ng life insurance is Sun Life, True Life UK, BDO Life Assurance Company, and many more. Life insurance are financial intermediaries that sell life insurance policy. Policyholder pay regular insurance premium. These are used to purchase investment so that company can pay cash as needed. Life insurance company provide protection over a contracted period or term, which may be a year, period of 5 years, or for life. For example po, may isang empleyado na namatay and then po meron siyang life insurance, bali yung family niya po or yung relatives niya po, pag namatay siya is wala na po siyang gagastusin and babayaran po. Next naman po is property and casualty insurance. It's insured against injury or property loss resulting from accident, work-related injuries, malpractice, natural calamities, and other extreme exotic travel like travel po sa ibang lugar na may danger po. Kapag may casualty insurance ka naman po, bali ito po ang magpo-provide ng financial sa inyo if may aksidenteng tao or may maluging business. For example po is may casualty insurance yung isang tao and then aksidente siya po and may makukuha po siyang pera para po pangtustos sa pagpapagaling sa kanya like yung sa medicine, yung sa pampaggamot po sa ospital. Second is the pension funds. Corporation, unions, and government set aside large pools of money for later use in paying retirement benefit to their employees or member. These pension funds are managed by the employer or union themselves or by other managers such as life insurance firm, commercial banks, and private investment firm. Pension plan member receive a specific monthly payment when they reach a given age. Example po nito is 6 years old ka na po and wala ka na pong kakayahan magtrabaho. And sample din po nito ay yung pension funds ni SSS. Bali, meron ka po nun and tumutong ka na po sa edad na 60 years old, bali may pension ka na pong makukuha monthly po, or may possible din po na makuha yun ng iyong asawa at anak if namatay ka naman po ng maaga, na as long na nagbabayad ka po ng mga benefits po na nagtatrabaho ka po, bali may makukuha po yung anak mo and asawa, lalo kapag po yung bata is wala pa po sa hustong gulang. And the minimum monthly retirement is 1-2 if the member po yung nakapagtrabaho po siya ng 120 months contribution po, and then at least 10 years po yun. And then next po is 2,040 po monthly, at least 20 years naman po siya nakapagbayad po. Next naman po is third is yung investment bank. Ang isang investment bank po ay isang kumpanya ng mga service sa financial na gampanin ay isang tagapamamagitan sa malaki at risky na transaction sa finance. Karaniwang nasasangkot po ang investment bank kapag maghahanda pa po ng isang startup pa lang po yung business or isang company. Sa paglulunsad po nito ay initial public offering kapag ang isang corporation po ay isang nakikipag-join sa isang competitor. Investment bank are best known for their work as intermediaries between a corporation and the financial market. Example po nito sa globally is yung Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and mga example naman po nito is sa Philippines is yung BPI Capital Corporation, Eastgate Capital Partners Incorporated, and First Abacus Financial Holding Corporation. Bali po sila po is nagbibigay financial sa mga public like po parang namumuhunan. Fourth naman po is yung mutual fund. A mutual fund is a pool of money managed by professional fund manager. It is a trust that collect money from a number of investors who share a common investment objective and investment the same in equities, bond, money market instrument, and or other securities. Mutual fund is like a big basket filled with different type of investment like stock and bonds. Instead of you choosing individual investment, you and other investor put your money together into the basket. Our companies in the manual or mutual funds, they allow investor including individual to buy mutual fund that buy different securities in the security market like stock, long-term bonds, or short-term debts. instruments issued by business or government units. Fifth is finance company. Finance company are profit-oriented financial institutions that borrow and lend funds to households and businesses. These are like banks and thrift. However, finance companies do not issue checking or savings account and time deposit. They raise funds in open market and borrow from the bank. Meron pong three types of finance companies. Sale finance companies provide installment credit to the buyer or big-ticket items like cars and household appliances. Second po is consumer finance grant credit to the consumer. They grant small loans to individuals, generally those with low credit rating and available to borrow from the regular lending institution like bank and thrift. And third is commercial finance companies, also known as business finance companies, grant credit to the businesses, while consumer finance companies grant loans to the consumer. Commercial finance companies grant loans to the commercial enterprises or businesses.
Stock brokerage firms play a crucial role in the financial markets by facilitating the buying and selling of securities, such as stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Stock brokerage firms in the Philippines, like BPI Trade, act as intermediaries between investors and the Philippine Stock Exchange. They provide platforms and services that allow individual investors to participate in the stock market. BPI Trade, for example, offers online trading platforms that enable clients to buy and sell stocks from the comfort of their own homes or offices. These brokerage firms serves as a bridge between investors and the stock market, executing trades on behalf of their clients. When investors want to buy or sell securities, they place order through their brokerage accounts, and the brokerage firms carry out these orders by matching them with counterparties in the market. In addition to facilitating trades, stock brokerage firms often provide valuable resources and support to their clients. This includes research, market analysis, and investment advice to help investors make informed decisions about their investments. For instance, BPI Trade offers research reports, market insights, and educational materials to assist clients in understanding market trends and identifying investment opportunities. Furthermore, stock brokerage firms may offer various types of account and investment products to suit the needs and preferences of different investors. These may include individual brokerage accounts, margin accounts for leverage trading, retirement accounts, and managed investment portfolios. It's important to note that brokerage firms typically charge commissions or fees for their services, which can vary depending on factors such as the size and the type of transaction. These fees may be charged per trade or as a percentage of the transaction value. Overall, stock brokerage firms play a vital role in democratizing access to the stock market, empowering individual investors to participate in wealth creation and financial growth. Through their platforms, services, and expertise, they help investors navigate the complexities of the stock market and achieve their financial goals. Next reporter.
Good afternoon po. So in this part, I'll be discussing about one of the type of depository financial institution, which is the credit union. So what is the credit union? According to its definition, it is a non-profit making money or a cooperative whose members can be borrow from pool deposits at low interest rate. So as we all know, when we say non-profit, ibig sabihin, they exist not to make profit, but they are like a group organized or nabuo with their purpose of operating to service the society as a whole. So they are a legal entity, but they also make money to perform their works, but in different way than the profit one. Also, kapag wala pong reliable revenue stream, they can possibly fail, and they are actually a tax-exempt organization. So going back to the credit union, they are a not-for-profit organization, since they are found by the members itself who use their service. So credit union is not for profit, not a non-profit, since they operate as a typical business but they not make profit. And they provide services to benefit a group of people. Like for example, one cost will be the interest rate. When you pay a loans, kapag po yung revenue is made by a not-for-profit entity, yung income po is i-reinvest pabalik sa organization instead of paying it back to the stockholders. Again, yung profit po is i-reinvest pabalik sa financial institution para makip yung rates ng deposit into a higher while yung lending rate is lower. So to sum up, credit unions are not a non-profit charity organization, since hindi naman po sila nagre-rely on donations to operate. They only provide services to those who struggle financially, and the credit unions are full-service, modern financial institution. Hindi lang po sila nagbayad ng profit back to stockholders, but all profits are reinvested back in the organizations to benefit directly their members' wallet. So, some of the example of credit unions in the Philippines are the Pag-ibig, SK, NATCO, and so on. So, since we finally understand that the credit union was made up of people with the same goal, which is to save and borrow money together, of course, there are advantages and disadvantages na we need to consider if we're planning to be part of the credit union. So, the first one is the advantages. So, there are benefits if you want to be part or being a member of the credit union. The first one is mas mababa po yung interest rate on loans and credits. This is because hindi nga din po goal or hindi po nila ini-aim ng credit union to have a big profit. Kaya po binababa nila yung charges for their members. Secondly, higher interest rate on deposits. Ibig sabihin po, you can earn more from your savings and you can have more interest. And the third one is mas mababa po yung bayad sa mga services, and you can assure na personalize yung service in every members. And for the last one, the great perks of being the member is personalized customer service. Since yung credit unions po are not that big, mas nakakapag-focus po sila sa mga customers nila, and mas maproprovide po nila yung assistance needed of their customers. But since we have the advantage, there are also disadvantages that we are also drawbacks to consider first. So, the first one, if you're planning to be part of them, kailangan po nating magpa-member in one credit union. So, first is, ayun nga po, need pong mag-apply at maging member before makapag-avail ng services po nila. Meaning, hindi po siya open for everyone. Second, credit unions can possibly offer a more limited ranges financial products and services, unlike to the other larger banks. The third one is kakaunti lang po yung possible na branches nila, causing to make it less convenient para sa mga tao na gusto or want to access their services. And lastly, since they are not that big unlike the other banks, credit unions might not always have the latest technology that the others who offer more advanced, like the other banks who offer more high and advanced because they have a latest technology. So that's all po for my part. Next reporter will be Miss Velarde. Thank you po.
So, what is asset management? Asset management is the practice of increasing total wealth over time by acquiring, maintaining, and trading investments that have the potential to grow in value. Asset management professionals perform this service for others. They may also be called portfolio managers or financial advisors. Many work independently, while others work for an investment bank or other type of financial institutions. Asset management is all about taking care of your valuable stuff like your money or investment. So, kunwari, meron kang cash or savings and you want it to grow over time. So, instead of handling it yourself, you can hire someone called an asset manager. These guys are the expert at handling money and making smart moves to help it grow. Ginagawa nila to through buying and selling different kind of investment like stocks, bonds, sort of like loans to companies or governments, or even shares in private funds. The goal is to make your money work hard and earn more for you. So here is the key takeaways of asset management. The first one is the goal of asset management is to maximize the value of an investment portfolio over time while maintaining an acceptable level of risk. Asset management as a service is generally provided by specialized firms to individuals, government entities, corporations, and institutional investors. Asset managers have a fiduciary responsibility to their clients to act in their best interest. They make sure decisions on behalf of their clients and are required to do so in good faith. So, asset managers have a big responsibility. When you hand over your money to them, lagi nilang iisipin or pipiliin kung ano yung best for you. It's like they're looking after your money as if it were their own, making sure to make decisions that benefit you the most. This is called being a fiduciary or a trustworthy guardian, and it is big deal because it means they're legally bound to always act in your best interest.
A financial institution is an organization that facilitates the flow of funds between investors and borrowers, providing a wide range of financial services such as banking, lending, investment management, and insurance to individuals, businesses, and governments. So this statement provides a comprehensive explanation of what a financial institution is and what it does. So first is facilitating the flow of funds. Second is providing financial services and serving individuals, businesses, and governments. So overall, financial institutions play a vital role on the functioning of the financial system by facilitating the flow of funds, providing essential financial services, and serving the financial needs of every individual. So we have the 5 functions of financial institution. So the first one is deposit taking. Financial institution accepts deposit from individuals, businesses, and governments, providing a safe place for customers to store their money while earning interest. So these financial institutions accepts deposits and offers checking and saving account services, make business personal, and provides basic financial products like certificates of deposit. Next is lending. They provide loans and credit to individuals and businesses for various purposes such as purchasing homes, financing education, and funding business operation. So the lending function of financial institutions refers to their role in providing funds to borrowers in the form of loans or credit. And these functions involves evaluating the credit of potential borrowers and determining the appropriate loan terms and disbursing funds to support financial needs such as personal consumption, business investment, or government expenditures. is the risk management. Financial institutions offers various insurance products to help every individuals and businesses risks associated with life, health, property, and liability. So the risk management function of financial institutions involves the identifying, assessing, and mitigating various types of risks to ensure the safety and stability of their operations and the financial system as a whole. And the goal of a risk management system is to measure and manage the firm's exposure to various risks that management has identified as central to its franchise. Next is investment. They facilitate investment activities by managing investment portfolios, offering investment advice, and providing access to financial markets such as stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So it involves deploying funds into various assets within the aim of generating returns for investors. In addition to that, financial institutions act as intermediaries between investors seeking to invest their savings and opportunities in the financial markets. And the goal is to allocate capital efficiently, of course, diversify risks, and achieve optimal returns for investors based on their risk tolerance, investment objectives, and the time itself. And through their investment activities, financial institutions play a critical role in capital formation, economic growth, and wealth creation within the economy itself. Lastly is payment services. Financial institutions provide payment services including checking accounts, credit cards, electronic funds transfers, and online banking to facilitate transactions between customers. It involves the facilitating the transfer of funds between individuals, businesses, and other entities. And financial institutions play a crucial role in the payment ecosystem by ensuring the efficient and secure of funds, which is essential for conducting economic activities and facilitating commerce. So next reporter.
Financial institutions have various capabilities and objectives that guide their operation and strategies. First, liquidity management. Liquidity management play a crucial role in the financial health and stability of an organization. It ensures that organization can meet its short-term obligations, such as paying suppliers, meeting payroll, and addressing any unexpected financial needs. Effective liquidity management also provides the organization with the flexibility to take advantage of investment opportunities, manage its working capital efficiently, and navigate through periods of financial uncertainty. Mechanism for ensuring sufficient liquidity. There are several mechanisms that organizations can put in place to ensure they have sufficient liquidity to meet their obligations. First, cash reserves. Organizations can maintain cash reserve to cover short-term obligations and unexpected expenses. Second, lines of credit. Establishing lines of credit with financial institutions can provide organizations with access to additional funds when needed. 3. Cash flow forecasting. Implementing robust cash flow forecasting processes allows organizations to anticipate their cash needs and plan accordingly. 4. Working capital management. Effectively managing working capital, including managing inventory levels, accounts receivable, and accounts payable, can help optimize cash flow and improve liquidity. 5. Short-term investments. Investing excess cash in short-term, highly liquid instruments can generate additional income for the organization while maintaining liquidity. Second, investment services. Investment services offered by the financial institution encompass a diverse range of investment products and services aimed at helping clients grow their wealth and achieve their financial goals. These services provide clients with access to professional expertise, global investment opportunities, and tailored investment solutions. while also ensuring regulatory oversight and investor protection. When selecting investment services, clients should carefully consider their investment objective, risk tolerance, cost implication, and the quality of financial advice communication provided by financial institutions. By making informed decisions and leveraging the expertise of financial institutions, clients can effectively navigate the complexities of the investments landscape and work toward realizing their financial aspirations. Advisory service. Personalized financial advice. Central to advisory service is the delivery of personal financial advice that takes into account the unique circumstances and aspiration of each client. Financial institutions engage in thorough consultations with clients to understand their financial goals, risk tolerance, and liquidity needs. The provision of personal financial advice and guidance by financial institutions through advisory services is instrumental in addressing the diverse and complex financial needs of individuals. By offering a comprehensive range of services, adopting a client-focused approach, adhering to regulatory standards, and embracing technological advancement, financial institutions strive to empower clients in achieving their financial goals and securing their financial future. Objectives: profit maximization. Profit maximization stands as cornerstone objective for financial institutions, permitting their strategic endeavors and operational initiatives. The pursuit of profit maximization is underpinned by the principle of risk-return, trade-off, and value creation, guiding the formulation of strategies to bolster profitability. While financial institutions navigate challenges and consideration in this pursuit, the imperative of profit maximization remains steadfast, driving the evolution of the financial landscape and shaping the delivery of financial services to a diverse stakeholders. Customer satisfaction. Quality service form the cornerstone of customer satisfaction in financial institutions. The provision of reliable and efficient services is essential for building trust and confidence among clients. Financial institutions strive to offer a diverse range of services, including savings and checking accounts, loans, investment opportunities, and insurance products. These services are designed to meet the diverse needs of customers, and their quality directly impact customer satisfaction. For instance, a seamless and user-friendly online banking platform enhances the overall customer experience, while quick and accurate loan processing reflects the efficiency of service delivery. Moreover, the accessibility of service such as convenient branch location and ATMs contribute to customer satisfaction by providing ease of access to financial resources. Innovation and growth. Innovation serves as financial institutions to differentiate themselves in a crowded marketplace, customer engagement, and drive business expansion by leveraging innovative technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and data analytics. Financial institutions can streamline their operation, mitigate risk, and deliver personalized services tailored to the unique needs of the diverse customer base. Furthermore, innovation empowers financial institutions to develop new products and services, penetrate untapped market, and forge strategic partnerships that augment their competitive edge.